battle, the humans were victorious. Mount Epilogue, 2001X. Legends say that those who climbed the mountain never came back. They were wrong, and a human named Frisk had saved the monsters. Chapter 1. The Fallen Humans. A few days after Toriel, Sans, and Papyrus, Alphys, Undine, and Azure and Frisk broke the barrier and freed monster kind. Frisk, who was a human ambassador for the monsters, had already gotten some also set up for the monster kind. They have the same rights as humans. Construction of their houses is being planned to start in about a week or so. Sam was an average preteen. He hung out with friends, played video games, and played outside. Because it was during the summer, he could do a lot more with friends and he didn't have any homework. That day, Sam and his friend Jacob hiked up Mount Eben. Once they were about a quarter up the mountain, they found a cave. The cave that the child had fallen in. But not this time. Sam and Jacob moved the vine out of the way of the hole as to not trip. Now Sam proceeded through a stone into the seemingly endless abyss. About 30 seconds later, they heard a very faint click as the stone hit the ground. Sam and Jacob decided to go into the underground. They jumped down. The farther down they got, the darker it was. They eventually landed on a bed of golden flowers. They somehow didn't get hurt. As they went forward in the dark cavern, they found a doorway that they soon entered. That led them almost a duplicate room as they were just in, except this one was brighter and didn't have any flowers. Emerging from the little patch of grass was Flowey, a golden flower with a face. Howdy, my name, the flower started. Flowey, we know, you're just a soulless corpse made from the souls of the past Prince Azure. Sam said, Frisk told the world all about us, and excuse us, we were out, like the make our way forward. You're new to the underground, aren't you? Someone ought to teach you how it works up here. I guess a little of me will have to do it. And with that, Flowey brought them into a fight. You see that heart in front of you? That's your soul, the very culmination of your being. We know, just spare the bullets and let us pass, Jacob impatiently told Flowey. You know what's happening, don't you? Then try to dodge this. Then, Flowey launched tons of his friendliness bullets, bringing both Sam and Jacob's health down to just 1 out of 20. Just then, Toriel, the goat woman he had seen on the news, came out from nowhere and shot fire at Flowey, forcing him away. Are you hurt, children? She asked in a calm and caring voice. A little, but we could probably make it if we eat something, Sam replied. Well, okay then, follow me. She walked into the next doorway, and they followed. Chapter 2, The Ruins. Once they entered the ruins, they saw a patch of red flowers and set of 2 stairs that led to the same upper level of that room. So, we've seen you and the other 5 monsters on the news, and you excited for life on the surface? Sam asked Toriel. Yes, I cannot wait. I believe that surface is great for humans. Is it not? She asked. Oh yeah, it's great. I'm totally excited for this inclusion of Monster Society. Thank you. But why did you come here anyway? pressed the button of the wall, opening up the door. They continued on in the ruins, seeing an incredibly long room with artificial streams and bridges on top. Because I have reset the traps, you must press the buttons marked, Toriel explained. Jacob ran across the first bridge and pressed the first marked switch, and Sam pressed the one across the other bridge. There was a loud clicking sound as the spikes at the end of the hall descended back into the floor. They continued into a room with a sign on the ground that read, "Sorry, dummy, has left for the ruins." I wonder why that is, Sam wondered. They then entered a room at least 3 times as long as the room with the switches. It had a moat around the main platform. But the catch is, the main platform was completely made of spiky traps. "Follow my exact steps, children," Toriel told them as she walked in the only path in which the spikes recede into the dispensers when you go on top of them. Once they reached the bridge at the end of the room, they were finally at ease. Toriel led them into a room that looked as if it was at least half the length of an average block on the surface. "Because you are not planning on staying, I will not test your independence," Toriel said, deciding not to sprint down the expanse and then hide behind the white pillars at the end of the room. Sam and Jacob decided to make conversation while walking the length of the room. "So, what was it like knowing that you were stuck down here?" Sam asked. "At first, it was certainly not fun, but that was before we had even made this first set of corridors," Toriel answered. "I thought that would be the case," Jacob responded. They kept walking for a while, but the time they were done, they were all to the end of the room. He had a hallway facing perpendicular to them. It had 3 rectangular patches of red leaves on the right and something that looked to be an entrance to the room on the left. They decided to turn left because there was a doorway there. Inside, there was a room with waters on the sides, and towards the back of the room, in the middle, there was a bowl on a pedestal with a sign that said, "Monster Candy, take 1. Obeying the rules, they each took only 1. They then left the room to see Toriel standing at the other end of the hallway. As the 2 humans walked towards Toriel, she turned and turned left. They both followed her and saw 2 sets of square-shaped rocks with the end of the width of the room. "We must go down the hole one to get to the other side," Toriel explained. They walked onto the dark purple blocks and they fell, but somehow they didn't get hurt. They crossed the hole and went up the other side and continued on in the ruins. Chapter 3, Another Fallen Human. Tyler, a friend of Sam and Jacob's, decided to see where the 2 were. Because he couldn't find them, he decided to look on Mount Ebot, because he knew they had been planning to go into the underground. Once he was at the cave, he jumped down. He landed on the flowers, and after taking in his surroundings, just as Flower began to give his spiel, "Howdy, my name," Tyler kicked him in the face and ran on into the ruins. Once he reached the spikes, he just swam across the room, even though the water was freezing cold and the current was against him. When he reached the bridge, he got on it and dried himself off. They then kept on running, past the long hallway and all the way down to the hole where the other 2 and Toriel were. Chapter 4, The Ruin continued. Sam and Jacob and Toriel saw Tyler go down the hole just as they were leaving. So once they were out, they waited for him. "Hey, why'd you guys not invite me?" Tyler asked in a jokingly manner. "We didn't know," Sam responded. "Who is this?" Toriel then asked. "Mrs. Dreamer, this is Tyler." "Tyler, you already know who she is." After the introduction, they continued along the rooms. They walked and eventually saw a rock and some sort of pressure plates for something to go on. And at the end of the room, spikes. Tyler decided to push the rock onto the plate, and then the spikes went into their dispensers, and the group walked on. They entered a room that seemed to turn a corner on its own. "You must not step on where the leaves are underneath this trap, or you will fall," Toriel told them. Then Toriel ran the path while turning the corner in the room. Jacob was the first to try. He tried to remember where Toriel had gone, but failed and fell underneath and saw the leaves and went to tell the others. Before Jacob had gotten back, Sam tried to figure it out. He remembered the pattern that Toriel had gotten to get across the spikes. When he tried it, he made it across into Toriel. When Jacob got up, he told Tyler the pattern and showed him the step-by-step. Once they were all across, they continued on. They were met with a set of 3 rocks, each with a corresponding plate. Tyler pushed the far left one, with Jacob pushing the middle one. But when Sam tried to push the right one, it spoke, telling him that he can't just push it around, but moved it super close to the plate. But not close enough. "Can you please just a little more?" Sam asked. Except it moved left. Sam told it to please move the other way, and finally did. But as they were about to jump over the spikes, it moved off the plate. "Just stay on the plate!" Tyler yelled at the rock, scaring it into moving. They finally passed that room and saw a small room with a table with cheese on it and a mouse hole. They ignored it. They then saw a ghost that was sleeping on a patch of red leaves. The ghost quietly said, "Napstablook, can you please move?" Jacob politely asked. "How do you know my name?" Napstablook asked. "You're totally famous everywhere," Sam answered with excitement. "Oh, thanks," he answered and disappeared. After that little confrontation, they saw a room with 2 doorways. They decided to go forward and into the spider bake sale. Tyler decided to leave a tiny bit of spare change in the webs. They left the bake sale and then entered a long hallway with a few froggets. There was a crack in the wall with another frogget hiding in it. They continued on and found a new room. There were two rows of 3 of the same bricks that fall when you land on them. Sam went to the middle of one of the... Oh, God, my head. Middle one of the right. Tyler went to the middle one of the left, and Jacob went to the closest one on the right. Sam found a switch and pressed it. Tyler didn't see anything, so he went back up, and Sam saw Napstablook. But when they got back up, Toriel was gone. "I guess she went on," Tyler inferred. They then continued into 4 sets of identical rooms that only changed in the angle. Once they were finished with those puzzles, they saw 2 paths. They went forward, and they saw one of the best parts of the ruins. Almost an entire country, but made out of purple stones. Whoa! they all said in amazement. They then went back to the other choice and saw a tree that sounded like what Frisk had described. They saw Toriel come out from behind it. Once she heard them arrive, she decided to go around the tree and greet them. Hello, she greeted. You got here earlier than expected. You may come in. And with that, she entered her home and signaling them to follow. I'm not even halfway through this, man. Chapter 5, The Exit. Despite the house being purple on the outside, it was almost the complete opposite on the inside, with the main room being made out of tan wood, while the walls were painted a similar shade. Stay as long as you like, she invitingly told them and led them into a hallway to the right. This is where the bedrooms are. I'm sorry that there is only one guest room, she explained. The one of the other rooms were obviously hers, and the other one was blocked off. It's okay, Sam replied sincerely. We're probably not staying the night. Oh, even if you're not staying at all, I baked you guys a pie. Toriel replied as she ran from the kitchen. She ran back with a butterscotch cinnamon pie. I didn't know which flavor you'd like, so I made a pie with mixed flavors, butterscotch and cinnamon. Thanks! But it is okay if we get on our way, Sam asked in the kindest voice he could make. Yes, that's fine. Just take this pie for if you ever get hungry, she responded. Thanks, the three humans said in unison. Chapter 6. Snowden. They descended into the exit of the ruins. Once they got to the door, they felt a cold breeze. They must be the entrance of Snowden, Tyler stated. 3, 2, 1. As they opened the giant door, they were blasted with the feel of winter. They looked around after closing the door behind them. Trees on both sides, a narrow part in front of them, and at the end a wooden gate. Well, let's get going, Jake directed. And they walked down the path Frisk had taken about during an interview for the news. As they progressed, they saw a broken branch in the way, but they stepped around it. Once they passed that, they took turns going through the gate with the space in the bar so big that anyone could fit through. Huh, I guess this is where Frisk met Sam stated in amazement. And it'll be the place you meet him too, a deep voice said from behind Sam's turned head. Don't you know how to greet a new friend? Turn around and shake my hand. Sam slowly turned and was amazed in what he saw. The same skeleton that had been interviewed and talked about on the news. Sam. As Sam turned around and shook his hand, he also introduced himself and his friends despite the whoopee cushion in Sam's hand. Oh my goodness, holy crap, this is so amazing to finally meet you. I'm Sam, and these are my friends, Tyler and Jacob. Well, it seems you already know who I am, Sam replied in the most chill way possible. Come on, let's go. I'll let you skip all Papyrus's traps. I'll introduce you to some other monsters. And just when he had finished saying that, they were instantly teleported from that area with a conveniently shaped lamp to guard a post with a dog in it. Hey, doggo! These are some humans that probably want to see down here in person. Sans told the dog. Oh, thanks to human technology, my seeing condition was fixed, Doggo replied. completely off topic. Humans, this is Doggo. Doggo, these are some humans, Sam introduced. Sans introduced. Nice to meet you, the three humans and Doggo said in unison. Let me let you meet some other nice people, Sans told the humans and teleported them away. This time, they ended up at a table with spaghetti on it. Hey bro, I think these humans want to meet you, Sans said to a different skeleton that was eating the spaghetti. Oh, let me finish my spaghetti first. The other skeleton responded, and with that, the skeleton slipped every noodle and drop of sauce left. Pirates, I'm like your biggest fan, Jacob exclaimed as he ran up to greet the skeleton. Oh, a fan? Thank you so very much, Papyrus responded. Bro, it's no surprise that you have fans. You're totally famous, Sans told his brother. Of course, the great Papyrus is famous, Papyrus told him, trying to sound as bold as possible. I'll be taking these humans on a little tour of Snowden for a little. So meet back at the house in a little bit, Sans explained. Okay, brother. And with that, Sans and the humans teleported to a gigantic bridge, but Sans was somehow at the other end with Papyrus. Brother, why did you bring me? Papyrus asked, surprised. Sans whispered to his brother, oh, you want me to do that? Sans whispered again. Prepare to be captured, humans. Wait, but Sam started. But right as he did, Tyler just grabbed Jacob and Sam and ran right on past the skeleton brothers in the bridge. Wait, what? Sans said in the most exaggerated manner. Dude, that's not cool, Sam and Jacob told Tyler. But Tyler kept pulling them. But despite Tyler's attempts, Sans caught up to the group through his teleportation powers. Yeah, dude. Holy shit, that's a fucking raccoon.
It's a fox.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Be nice to Papyrus. He's kind of sensitive. Sans agreed with Sam and Jacob. Somehow. And at the same time, they entered Snowden town. So this is the place, huh? Sam said, Snowden. Yep, kid, you're right. Now follow me. As if you weren't anyway, Sans answered. They passed the inn and the shop. Then Sans took them to Groby's. Yo, I know you're moving to the surface and all, but can you get some burgers for these humans? Sans answered the fire bartender. And as if it were a routine, Groby went to the back of the room of the restaurant, got out 2 burgers, and went back to the back. Yo, Gropes, leave it on my tab, shouted Sans. Humans, bring your food outside in case you get hungry. Thanks, the humans said in unison. So they followed Sans out of the bar and the restaurant and walked past the library and the skeleton's brother's house. But right after, they were hit with a weird chill and a bunch of snow. Don't worry, we're almost done with Snowden. Just keep going forward. I'll catch y'all later, Sans just told them. Chapter 7, Waterfall. Just as they entered the blue heart of the underground, they felt it's cold but humid. They walked past 2 waterfalls starting from seemingly nowhere. Once they had left that area, they saw a sentry station, but there was no sign on it. Moving out. No need for this. Hey, that's pretty good, Sam quoted one of his favorite memes. As they continued their exploration, they... Oh. As they...
Hey, that's pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good, Sam quoted one of his favorite memes. As they continued their exploration, they were met with a little bit of water and falling rocks. Trying their best not to get hit, they ran through. They then saw a patch of grass, similar to the one Frisk had described. I bet Undyne won't even be here, Jacob told them, entering the tall grass. But just as he did, a giant figure appeared in front of him. You were wrong, the giant figure told him. Oh, hi, Undyne, Jacob sheepishly stated, even though the monster don't kill humans anymore. Hey, kid, you still so confident that I'm not here? Undyne asked Jacob sarcastically. Jacob started, not knowing what to say. What he means is, it's truly a pleasure to meet you, Miss formal leader of the Royal Guard, Undyne, Sam interrupted. Cool, you know who I am. So, what are you guys doing down here? Undyne asked. We want to see the underground firsthand, Sam explained. Well, I'll help you on your little trip. So they continued on. They continued along in the caverns, walking on tough lily pads, sitting on water, and went into hallways with signs, inscriptions with the monster's backstory. They eventually got to a long bridge that curved a lot. This is where you chase Frisk in pursuit of their soul, Tyler inferred based on the information Frisk had told the news reporters. Yeah, you're right. That was one scary time for both of us. Me not exactly knowing what they were capable of, Undyne replied. They continued on and turned right because the platform in front was blocked by water, so they turned right and saw long black platforms of land that were surrounded by bright blue glowing water. They then went through the maze of black land, eventually going to the other side of the water. Finally, Undyne patiently said aloud. That took forever to get through. They were met with a large puddle in the center of the room with 3 exits. One left, one to the right, and one going forward. Let's go left, and then go back to come back and go to the exit that leads on. Why not? Why not right? Jacob asked the fish monster. There's just a lot of water and a bed of flowers. A bit waste of time, she replied. So they went left, finding Napstablook and Habstablook's house. Huh, that's cool, but we shouldn't snoop. Tyler told the others in the group. They agreed with him. They went back to the main room and then went forward. They were met with another room with 3 exits in the exact same place. Deciding not to waste too much time, Undyne took them forward, finding S long room with 2 waterfalls that spilled. Oh God. Waterfalls that spilled off the edge. They all just ran through the runoff. I'm gonna die. They found themselves in a cavernous area that was only lit with small crystals, but because they lived in the waterfall, Undyne had memorized the path, so they made it through in a breeze. Wait, isn't there a Temi village back there? Jacob asked. Well, yes, but I'm not going. I'll take you there, but I really despise that place, Undyne replied reluctantly. So she took them to a place in this part of the waterfall that was lit up properly. Humans! A Temi asked right as they arrived. So cute! Jacob shouted. Okay. Sam went up to a line of Temmies, which accidentally started a chain reaction. Hoi! I'm Temmy, and this is my friend Temmy. Hoi! I'm Temmy, and this is my friend Temmy. Hoi! I'm Temmy, and this is my friend Temmy. Hoi! Fuck. Hoi! I'm Temmy, and don't forget my friend Temmy. Oh, there's... Okay. Hi, I'm Bob. They moved on to a Temmy looking over an egg. Temmy watch egg. Egg will hatch. Tem proud parent. The egg is hard boiled. Oh my god.
I wish you answered this chapter.
Because they were done, they went back into an annoyed looking Undyne. You guys are finally out of that horrible place, Undyne stated, really annoyed. I knew I didn't like you since you were when we first met you, Jacob said under his breath. What was that, punk? Undyne asked. Nothing. Yeah, that's what I thought. After that little incident, they kept on moving. They went through another really dark room and eventually walked past a giant cave. It's even taller than Frisk, Sam said. Talking about the giant rock with the cave on the front of it. I guess, Undyne replied. I'll call Dr. Alphys for when you arrive in Hotland. She'll guide you. Undyne pulled... Aren't they fucking lesbian? Okay, yeah. Undyne pulled out her phone, called Alphys, and sent the humans on their way.